All right, welcome back to Big B Sports Talk Podcast, Season 3. Talking about NFL football. Just like every year, there's a lot of changes. We're going to do a two-part episode splitting up the AFC and the NFC. This week, we're talking about the AFC. Tons of changes. Let's see who's going to win each division and go to the Super Bowl. The first thing, just like always in every NFL season, there's tons of changes going on, man. Quarterbacks going here and there, players going here and there, a lot of changes. That's why we love the NFL. It's because the parity of the NFL is why we love it. And every year, for the most part, your team's got a chance, even if they were horrible the year before. So let's dive in and see who's going to win each division and why. Talking AFC today. So let's start out, obviously, with AFC East. And I should say, obviously, we're going from East Coast to West Coast. So let's start with the AFC East. First thing is the winner, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, let's not be so suspenseful about it. The Bills improved their roster from a good roster last year to a great roster this year. The Bills are the class of the division and pretty much the class of the AFC. We'll see. They got a lot better. They got a great quarterback in Josh Allen. They're going to do a lot of good things on defense again this year. I just see them being better overall. They'll take the East. Now, a team that did get better as well is the Dolphins. The Dolphins, I'm telling you, they're going to be there at the end. I believe the Dolphins are going to win 10 games. They're going to go at least 10-7 this year. With the weapons that they have, getting in Tyreek Hill, they already have Waddle. I think Tua takes a step forward. The offensive line takes a step forward. The defense is already good. If they can just improve what they do on offense, they've got something. Minimum 10 wins. And I think they are going to get that last playoff berth. The Dolphins. The Patriots, no. I like Mac Jones to be better, but their roster just isn't as good. The defense is not going to be as good. I think the Patriots are a couple years away. They got to build that roster up. The Jets are still the Jets. Although I will say this, the Jets are fighting. The Jets had an outstanding draft. Now, the one thing about the Jets is their quarterback. Their quarterback is a knucklehead, but he's got extreme talent. So I say he's a knucklehead because he was a rookie. If he can, kind of foster some of that, bravado and just tame it down just a little bit. Just tame it down and become a good, solid NFL quarterback minus the mistakes. They're going to have something because, like I said, the roster is getting better. The Jets are going to be better. They'll be competitive in a lot of games where last year, not so much. So Bills are winning. Dolphins making that final playoff push and getting that last spot. Patriots and Jets scrambling for next year, being competitive, but just not going to challenge for the division. Moving on. So let's go to the AFC South. This is one of the worst divisions in football. You got Jacksonville in it. They're not any good. Although Jacksonville will be a lot better. They finally got that train wreck of a coach, Urban Meyer. They got him out of there. My goodness. You talk about disaster. Man, that was a disaster. But they got him up out of there. So they'll be better. Their roster is definitely going to be better. And it's like, what do you think of Trevor Lawrence? I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a good quarterback, man. He was a rookie. They didn't have a lot of weapons. They didn't have a lot of help. They're helping him. I don't know that Christian Kirk is a true number one receiver. We're going to find out. But I think he's a guy that you can throw the ball to 6 or 7 times a game. I think he's that guy. They can run the ball. They can definitely do that. Now, if their defense and other things start to come around, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will have a little something, 5 or 6 games that they'll win. Not going to challenge for the division, but they'll be better. Houston, I'm not a believer. Their roster is terrible. I'm still trying to figure out what they're doing. I mean, they fired their coach last year when you knew the roster was going to be bad. You didn't play the quarterback for we know the reasons. That's a conversation for another time with Deshaun Watson. So you didn't play your quarterback. You played a rookie. He was bad, but he got better. The roster's bad, but then you fired the coach. Okay. Which didn't make sense. And they were playing hard to literally the very last second of the last game. They were playing hard. So you bring in Lovie Smith. Now, Lovey is more accomplished, so we'll see what he can do. And I'm rooting for Lovey, but they have a bad roster. So Texans are going to be bad again. I know there's some people that think that Mills is going to be he's not that guy. He's not that guy. Not going to be good. Not going to be good. Houston's not going to be good. Now, Tennessee. Look, Tennessee can only go as far as what their quarterback can take you. You can't just hand the ball off in the playoffs and run. And it was proven last year. You can't just say, well, we're going to run it 40 times a game with Derrick Henry and go win a playoff game. You got to have some quarterback play. And Ryan Tannehill was literally a basket case. Just pick after pick after pick. Wasn't good. I mean, we want to root for Ryan Tannehill, I think. But he's just not that good of a quarterback, man. He's not a championship level quarterback. Let's put it like that. You trying to win a title, Ryan Tannehill's not that guy. You know, he's a guy that can win you some games, maybe win you a division, get you to the playoffs. But to take the next leap, you need somebody better than him. The Colts, I think the Colts are clearly the class of this division. They upgraded tremendously at quarterback. I know what you're thinking. Matt Ryan is just so-so. He's also played behind some of the worst offensive lines in football in Atlanta the last 3 years. They've been terrible. But he somehow figured it out. And, you know, he's hadn't had great years, but he's had okay years. Now he's going to a team that's got arguably the best offensive line in football. Arguably the best running back in football. Now, I don't know who they'll be able to throw it to. I mean, Pittman's good. T.Y. Hilton, too many soft tissue injuries, and they're not going to bring him back. So they'll be throwing the ball to some decent guys. We'll figure it out. But they clearly are the class of the division. Now, they're also a basket case as well, because while we blame everything at the end of the season on Carson Wentz, it wasn't all his fault. It wasn't all his fault at all, man. I mean, yeah, he played bad, but that defense stunk it up too. I mean, Jacksonville just went up and down the field. They couldn't stop him. They literally couldn't stop him. I mean, they were just going through him like Swiss cheese. It's ridiculous. So if they can fix that and fix their issues on defense, the Colts are going to make a deep playoff run. They're going to win the division, but they're going to make a deep, deep playoff run. Now, let's go to the AFC North. My pride and joy. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, I'm on record as saying that we drafted Baby Hands Pickett. I don't know why we did it. I thought it was a huge mistake. I still think it's a huge mistake. And I may turn out to be wrong. And I may have to eat my words. But you know what? That'll make me happy. If I have to eat my words. Fine. He was better than what I anticipated. But I don't think he's going to be. I thought Trubisky was fine for what we were trying to do. I thought we should have waited until the draft next year to take a quarterback. Our defense is going to be better. That's the one thing that people misunderstand. The Steelers' rush defense was, at the end of the year, they were the worst in the league. I mean, they were terrible. Just despicable. People going up and down the field. I mean, it was a track meet. And yet, we still made the playoffs. Now, you can attest some of that to Ben Roethlisberger, but let's not give Big Ben more credit than what he deserves, man. I mean, he literally couldn't move in the pocket. Our offensive line was atrocious, and we couldn't run the ball. How Najee Harris was able to run for what he did, is a miracle, literally, man. But Ben, it should have been done. We were bad on offense. Our defense wasn't good. I don't know how we made the playoffs, but I do know how. Actually, I take that back. We got Mike Tomlin. When you got Mike Tomlin, you know, a lot of things you can do that you don't think you can do. Mike Tomlin makes it go in Pittsburgh. He's going to have to pull something out of his hat this time, because I know the line's better, but that quarterback situation, I just don't know. Trubisky fits it better, so hopefully he gets the nod. And I think he got a lot of bad coaching in Chicago, so I don't want to blame it all on him. But he also played bad in Chicago, so we'll see. But as much as it pains me to say, I think the Steelers come in fourth in that division. Who comes in third? The Bengals. I know what everybody's going to say. Oh, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, they made it to the Super Bowl. But they're the Bengals. And you know what that means. They're going to play Bengal football. And the Bengals are going to take a step back. That's going to happen. Just trust me. It's going to happen. They're not going to win as many games. They're going to make mistakes, do things that you're thinking, what? How? Why? That's going to happen. Trust me. That's what the Bengals do. That's their tradition. They're the Bungles, the Bengals. I mean, it is what it is. And I know they got a talented offense, and they got some guys on defense, and their line is going to be better. Now we come to the Ravens or the Browns. Look, Lamar Jackson's coming back. Have y'all seen Lamar Jackson, by the way? I mean, this guy put on 25 pounds of muscle. I don't know if that's a good idea for Lamar Jackson, but if it is, okay. And the one thing about the Ravens have to be better because their whole team's not going to be hurt again. I mean, last year they were 8-3, and literally they started dropping like flies. Everybody got hurt, including their quarterback, and they lost the rest of their games. You know, finished 8-9 with a roster that I don't know that could have beat really good college teams because that's basically what they were playing. You know, a bunch of XFL and USFL guys just because guys were so hurt. Man, it was bad. They're going to be better. They're going to be better. They're going to fight for one of those playoff spots by the end of the season, but I just don't think they're going to win the division. I know. You're saying, Brian, the Browns are going to win it? Yeah, I think the Browns are going to win it. Look, I know all this Deshaun Watson stuff. I know all this, his suspension. The NFL is, you know, protesting or whatever they're doing to try to get him suspended more games. I don't know if that's going to work. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I think they only did it, you know, for public backlash. But again, that's a conversation for another day. I think the Browns just win the division. I think they got better on defense. I think their offensive line is great. They're going to stick to what they do, which is running the football. They're going to get enough quarterback play until Deshaun actually comes back, and I think he's going to set it on fire. I do. I think Deshaun Watson is going to light it up. I think he is. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm a Deshaun Watson fan. That doesn't mean that I'm rooting for Deshaun Watson. That doesn't mean anything other than I think he's just going to come back and light it up. I really do. So I think the Browns win the AFC North. I do. Now to the best division in football. Woo! The AFC West. Look, man, I don't know that there's been a division that has ever had this level of quarterback play. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, David Carr, and I'm mentioning Russell Wilson last just because that's the order that came to my mind. I mean, I don't even know the order. I guess you could say Mahomes, Wilson, Herbert, Carr. I don't know, whatever order you want to put it in. It is a crazy good division. But the Chiefs are going to win it. The Chiefs are going to win. I think the Chiefs' offense actually is going to be better. People think Brian, you're crazy. No, I'm not crazy, man. I just believe they're going to be better. And here's the reason why. Their offense is not going to be as explosive. You're not going to get as many, 80 and 70-yard chunk plays as what you did with Tyreek Hill. But you are going to have more ball control. Look, Juju Smith-Schuster is basically another Travis Kelce. He can catch the ball over the middle. The Chiefs had one guy that could literally do that. Well, now they got another guy that can do that. He can catch those tough passes over the middle. He's not going to separate and run by a whole bunch of guys on the outside, but he can do those things over the middle that Kelce can do, man. They've got enough. I'm telling you. And Mahomes, if Mahomes is who we think he is, and I believe he is, he's still going to be able to spread that ball around. Their line is still good. If they commit to running the ball more, which I think they're going to have to this year, they'll run the ball more and they get enough on defense. If they can get enough on defense, which I think they will, they're winning that division. Now, who comes in second, third, fourth? I know it's a toss-up, but I'm going Raiders. I just think the Raiders they've gotten better everywhere. I just think they solidified. They came off all that traumatic stuff, firing the coach, a guy drunk driving, killing somebody. That's a lot for a team to go through, man. And they came through and still made the playoffs and had a chance to win at the end. I think the Raiders do it again. I think their record is better. I think they come in second in the division. I mean, the Raiders are going to be good. And despite what people say, David Carr is a really good quarterback. Really good quarterback. I'm not saying he's top 5 or even top 10, but he ain't far outside the top 10. He's up there. David Carr is a good quarterback. In third, I think it's going to be the Chargers. The Chargers roster is the best roster in football. I just believe that this is the year that they got to make a charge. If their coach can just get out of the way, my goodness. Look, he's an analytical nerd. And for all you analytical nerds out there, look what happened last year when you played analytical nerd football. Kept going for it on fourth down and missed the playoffs because of that. Stop it. Punt the ball. Do the things that you need to do to win. Conventional football is fine, man. Stop it. All this nerd football got you beat, didn't it? Kept you out of the playoffs where you could have done some damage. Doesn't work, man. Just play regular football. And I think that he's learned from that. And the coach gets out of the way. And I think the Chargers, again, make the playoffs. Now, that leaves the Broncos. And I know they got Russell Wilson, but their defense got worse, man. Their defense got worse. I know they got better on offense. They already lost Patrick to an ACL injury, man, which stinks. My goodness. Just, awful. This third year in a row, they've lost a receiver to an ACL injury, man. Just horrible luck. But for those reasons, I just don't think that Denver's there yet. I don't think they're there yet. I think they'll have a good record, and they're definitely going to fight. Don't get me wrong. They'll be in the mix for that last playoff position, but I just don't think they're going to make it. Playoffs, as far as that goes, and who comes out of the AFC West, or not the West, who comes out of the AFC in general, is going to be the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills, this is just their year, man. They got too much on defense, too much on offense. The roster got better. Josh Allen, I think, takes another leap and makes his ascent to the top of the NFL as far as the quarterback hierarchy. I know a lot of people say he's there now. Go win in the playoffs, beat Mahomes, and if you do, you will be considered the top quarterback in the NFL. Now, Mahomes still holds it. And if Mahomes goes and does his thing again, man, I mean, it is what it is. What are you going to do? But I think they're going to play in the AFC Championship game again this year, or this year. I shouldn't say again this year, but this year. And it's going to be in Buffalo this time. I think that's just going to be too much. Those fans are just absolutely insane. I love every one of them. They are fanatics. They're crazy. They're rowdy. And I don't think they're going to allow their team to lose. They're going to be too much. Plus, Buffalo's roster really good. I think Buffalo comes out of the AFC this year. I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Again, Big B Sports Talk. We're on YouTube. Please follow, like, subscribe, everything. Our podcast is everywhere that you get podcasts. So please check us out. We're on TikTok, Instagram. We have a Facebook page. We're growing, man. We're growing. So please come check us out. And thank you again for tuning in.